These people are practicing the occult.
Billionaire Jeffrey Epstein is expected to appear in federal court in Lower Manhattan tomorrow,
Using trauma-based mind control to release spirit energy.
How serious are these charges against Epstein?
Is Epstein going to cooperate? Because back in the day when he signed the non-prosecution agreement, it also protected co-conspirators.
The emails say these girls had psychic powers.
Agents hauled out multiple bags of evidence from disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Who knows what type of people may be involved in this conspiracy?
And he also had a lot of girls there all the time.
Great point. This guy's a billionaire with a lot of wealthy and high-profile friends. Should those people be worried about Epstein taking them down with him, Alex?
Jeffrey Epstein went from teacher to Wall Street to uber wealthy.
There's a secret religion being played out right before your eyes, and they're all in on it. And let me tell you that this goes deeper than you can ever imagine. This is some nasty, wicked stuff. And we'll tell you what we can and show you the connections to the mystery religion of today. There is a spiritual wickedness in high places. Well, hello, friend. This is your friend Spencer here. Thank you for watching episode 10 of Spiritual Wickedness in High Places. Go ahead and smite your like button and subscribe to this channel if you are new. Today's episode is going to be about the occult teachings of a man named Gino U. I don't see anybody talking about this man. I don't see any attention being drawn towards this. But this is something that is in the Epstein files many times, and I think it deserves some attention. So we're going to give it some attention today. Now, in our last video that we did on this channel, and please just take a moment and check if you've subscribed or not. But we did a video here on episode 9 where we talked about girls with special abilities. Now, that sounds like something out of X-Men or Stranger Things or something like that. And I got to be honest with you, I kind of thought to myself, if I put out a video on this, people are going to think I'm crazy. It might be too late for that, but I checked and double checked, and it took me a few more days just to get an extra video out on this topic here because I wanted to be sure. But I am certain that this man named Gino U that we are talking about right here today was teaching an Eastern meditative, transhumanistic religious view. And he had contact with Jeffrey Epstein all the way through 2018, 10 years after his indictment and arrest and being charged with crimes against minors. So this man had to know what Epstein was and just didn't care. But his connections with him, his emails to him, all indicate that Jeffrey Epstein was interested in a transhumanistic and really an occult worldview of trying to live forever. And we're going to talk about this in today's video. Stick with me all the way to the end, of course, and smite your like button. Now, let me just give you a summary real quick of the work of Gino U. And I'm going to put this on the screen for everybody can see who this man is. Gino U was a retired associate professor from Hong Kong Polytech University specializing in digital media, game development, and consciousness studies. He had documented connections with Jeffrey Epstein through email correspondence spanning it from around 2016 to 2018. These ties appear to be professional and networking oriented, centered on shared interest in human consciousness, evolution, and special abilities, rather than financial crimes or messing with kids or anything like that. And so basically, I want to be very clear with this, that there really is no evidence that Gino U was implicated in his crimes, was on his flight log, was in his black book, or had any type of court or legal troubles related to the Epstein abuse situation. But however, a lot of the emails that he has sent to Jeffrey Epstein have caused a lot of questions. Now, Gino U, from what I understand, is retired, and he has a Twitter account that is basically dormant. And you know, to try to get a hold of this man is nigh impossible. I mean, you can look right here. He has a few thousand followers on X, or 1,600. And I've got a message into him, try to talk to him, but really there's nothing there. And you can see the buzzword, New Age buzzword, occult buzzword, consciousness right there on his direct X page. And so that's, you can go check it out if you want to. But why would Jeffrey Epstein be involved with a man like Gino U? That's a good question. Well, I believe that Epstein was a well-documented, and it was well-documented, he was fascinated with transhumanism. And it was the idea, and transhumanism, basically the idea of enhancing humanity through science, technology, genetics, and AI to create superior beings or extend life indefinitely. It's the idea, and even Elon Musk is promoting this type of stuff, that you can actually upload your consciousness into some SD card, like what's in your camera or something like that, and when your body wears out, you unplug the SD card, put it in a new body, and you just keep moving and just keep going. I mean, you can take, literally you can take like a little jump drive, and all of your brain is on this, and when your body wears out, we unplug that, put you in a new body, and you'll just live forever. You'll live forever. No need to face God with a judgment. No need to face God with, with your sin. You can just live forever and soar across the stars forever, whatever you want to do. That's transhumanism. And so Epstein's interest in this overlapped with U's work, because Yu was interested in evolutionary psychology, human potential, consciousness expansion, and special abilities like telepathy, intuition. And he tried to fund a lot of people who were involved in this through millions in donations he gave to scientists, stuff like that. It is reported that Jeffrey Epstein wanted to seed the human race with his DNA, basically become his own atom, if you will. And he explored cryogenics. There are reports that he wanted his head frozen so that 100 years later, when the technology advanced, he could actually have his head come out and be put back on a new body. And he actually backed research on topics like quantum consciousness, brain-computer interfaces, and genetic engineering. And so Yu's framework, which was the stages of conscious evolution, directly aligned with this. This is why these guys were apparently buddies. Epstein was drawn to outliers with enhanced traits, funding studies on autistic savants displaying telepathy, psychic experiments, and evolutionary dynamics. Yu's evolving caravan and emphasis on embodiment, autonomic nervous system rewiring, and higher stage individuals as grounded evolvers would appear to Epstein's vision of transcending human limits. That's a mouthful right there. In one 2018 email, Yu explicitly described Epstein as having a keen interest in people with special abilities, tying into Epstein's sci-fi-like pursuits. And you have to also understand that that there were men that were like Deepak Chopra who were into certain things like this, trying to do telepathy tests and stuff like that. So although he seemed like he blended his views with genetics and that type of stuff, and so it was the idea of we're going to advance the human race so that we actually are not like limited by our physicality anymore. Now, I'm going to show you an email, and I'm not going to show you all of it because this email kind of gets a little explicit towards the end, and it leads me to believe that these men were to some degree involved in sex magic. And I'll just leave it at that for you for now. But this is a 2018 email from Jeffrey Epstein and Gino U, a correspondence here. And so Gino U sent him this email, and I'm going to try to make it as big as I can for you guys at home so you can see this on the screens. But he says, this is Gino U. I'm traveling on the evolving caravan, and in October, one of the practitioners of the caravan will be in New York City. Her name is Nathalie. In my model, she is a stage 3.5, and he kind of gives the whole model right here. Stage 1 is consciousness, consensus reality. Stage 2 is all in on one thing. Stage 3 is surrendering to the bigger forces at work. Stage 4 is insight. Stage 5 is having special abilities in a grounded way. Whoa, that's nutty stuff, okay? He says, Mitch, I brought to you to see last time Tesla was a high stage 2, high energy tied to story. When their worldview is challenged, they fight back, hence in debate. Worldview tightly coupled to autonomic nervous system. Stage 3 is a shift to innate joy of being. Nathalie was a dancer and big on embodiment. And he puts her website up here. I'll take you to this in a moment. Let me know if you'd like to meet her. And he also mentions Chris Wink, who co-founded the Blue Man Group. And apparently Chris Wink was into some weird stuff according to this email right here. But that being said, that whole stages that Gino U is putting out there is something that is very interesting to me, because apparently when these girls get to stage 5, or these people that he works with get to stage 5 level consciousness, they develop superpowers like telepathy and telekinesis and psychic abilities and stuff like that. This is the occult. And Jeffrey Epstein is into this. Now, let me read to you. I've got basically just kind of had to do some digging, and I've got the 5 stages right here of Gino U's work, allegedly, that he has. And let me read to you stage 1, okay? So basically, stage 1, let me just read the whole thing to you, okay? Gino U's model of consciousness developed, often called the 5 stages, is a developmentary framework he has described in his interviews and related work. It draws from observations of personal transformation, awakening experience, and neuroscience, Eastern, Western philosophy, and his research using media, biofeedback, and interactive tools to facilitate shifts. That is a key word, shifts. When you hear the word shift, there's a shift in the atmosphere. Do you feel the shift? That is an occult New Age buzz term for talking about people that are opening up themselves to demon possession. That's what that means. The stages trace how individuals form and then transcend limited worldviews, moving from conditioned consensus reality through crisis and surrender to higher states of awareness, joy, intuition, and potentially non-ordinary abilities. Basically, we're going to take you on the road to Shambhala so that you can get superpowers. It's in the work. It is not strict linear ladder to process many people undergo, often triggered by life challenges, existential crises, or intentional practices. And so basically, here's the 5 stages. Stage number 1 is something called consensus reality, or the formation of the worldview. And this is the baseline for most people, buying into socially agreed upon symbols, roles, and beliefs. Awareness is filtered through conditioning from earlier life. Physiological and basic symbols emerge. People operate within societal structures for survival, and it's grounded in ordinary perception with little questioning. Okay, so we're going to take you from stage 1 and take you to stage 2. What is stage 2? Stage 2 is grounded commitment, all in focus, or high energy story tide. And he says individuals zero in or narrow focus intensely on their constructive narrative and self. High energy, but often defensive when challenged. They fight back debate because the worldview is physiologically wired into the automatic nervous system and is committed, grounded phase, but still limited to personal story-driven. You describes people that are energetic and tied to a narrative, okay? That's a bunch of gobbledygook, but this is where it gets interesting in stage 3. It's called the surrender to a shift to innate joy of being. These people break out of consensus reality via existential crises, ego challenges, or awakening moments. Involves surrender to bigger forces at work, meaning this: they start to have some form of a Kundalini awakening, and letting go of rigid control story and opening to presence. This leads to a shift toward the innate joy of being, often somatic embodied, and they say that dancers are highly involved with this. And you calls this the average awakening state. People come present, open focus, and access deeper joy beyond mental constructs. Trauma or intense challenges can catalyze this, reframed as a breakthrough to higher potential. Okay, so first of all, if you're stage 1, you're just a normie. You're like an NPC. You're a person that you're just out there living a normal life. You're not even aware any of this stuff exists. But stage 2, you're confronted with the idea of a higher consciousness, and that you can break out of that, and you start becoming combative, and that you actually start to debate this kind of stuff, and you start to reject it and fight against them. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is where you finally realize, oh my goodness, there's something to this. And this whole process is the idea of opening you up to a demon possession so that you can have your own personal Kundalini awakening. And when you get to stage 5, you develop superpowers. So that's where we're going. Stage 4 is building on stage 3's openness. Intuition sharpens into clear insights, meaning this: you get visions. You start to see things with a spiritual eye. In other words, you ever see that eyeball on people's foreheads? That's called your third eye. That is your intuition. That is what the Hindus mean when they have the open third eye on their forehead. That's why Dragon Ball Z characters have eyeballs on their foreheads. This is what this means. This is a Hindu concept. This is the opening of the third eye. You are developing intuition, which is another term for the third eye. Awareness expands. Individuals navigate life with deeper understanding, non-ordinary perception, and guidance from inner knowing. This stage involves thriving post-awakenings and integrating gifts sustainably, often becoming guides, coaches, counselors for others in transition. So they become little disciples and evangelists for the occult. But stage 5 is really interesting here. This is where you go into cuckoo territory and woo-woo land. And in stage 5, you develop special abilities, non-ordinary abilities, and you develop advanced human potential. The leading edge emergence of special or enhanced capacities, intuitive gifts, energy healing, psychic-like phenomena, or highly developed non-ordinary abilities. These people become sustainable and integrated. Yu sees this as part of humanity's next evolutionary phase. Outliers with these traits can guide collective awakening. He emphasizes supporting people here through community, tech, and biofeedback and experiences here. When they get to stage 5, that's when they can actually become people who can guide the world into the age of Aquarius, where we can guide the world to go to the next level of human consciousness. These people become wizards, they become witches, they become warlocks, they become the foot soldiers of the army of Satan. That's exactly what Gino U's work was trying to do, and this is what Epstein was funding through this man. And it's crazy. So, that being said, Yu frames this whole thing as a developmental process for personal and collective evolution, and he believes that you can use technology to induce awakening and build support networks for these people. Basically, he's saying that this is what we need to do for folks, and we need to try to get them to a higher level of consciousness so that they can become the next stage of human evolution. Now, I'm going to show you the rabbit hole this went down. I'm going to connect some dots for you, and I'm going to show you, I don't like this. Oh my goodness, I don't like this stuff. By the way, if you're on X, follow us on X. We put a lot of stuff on there that we can't put on other platforms. That's the advantage that X has right now, is that it's a little bit looser on stuff, and there's things I can say there that I can't even say on YouTube, so make sure you follow us there on that. Now, this email that I showed you a minute ago, it gives some links, like some people's names and stuff like that. Gives a few web addresses. The first one it gave brought me to this website. I have no idea what this is. This is kick.com. I don't use Kick. I don't know anything about that. But it talks about this person in here who is a stage 3.5. And she is a person who is basically past stage 3 a little bit. She is shifted to the innate joy of being, and she's getting to stage 4 where she's developing intuition. Intuition is the idea that you can. There's a little voice that speaks inside of you, and he names her Nathalie, and he gives the website for her. This is her. Now, this poor woman, I don't understand why she would work with Gino U, but here she is on Instagram. That's her social media stuff, and of course she's Dutch, so I'm not going to show you a lot of the stuff on here because Dutch people don't dress right. But these are some of the retreats that she does, and she has some really wild things that she says. I'll play a little bit of this for you, but some of the retreats that she does where you can train your intuition from a Christian perspective. These people are learning to let go of the ego, and they are learning to listen to voices. And they're calling these voices your intuition. From a Christian perspective, we know that these people are messing with demons. This is a doctrine of devils, according to the New Testament. The Bible, this right here says, and I'm going to get the Bible in a minute, But a 3-day retreat in Ibiza, a full experience into better hearing your gut feeling, understanding how your tuition works and learning to live with it so you can live by it. Our gut feeling is very powerful. It's the gateway to our instinct. We often do not listen to it anymore, or even more so, we don't hear and feel it anymore. Conditioning and mind work has overpowered it. Through loss of exploration, physical movement, and observation of ourselves and each other, we can unlock this blockage and remember this inner knowledge we all carry within. Oh my. This is the divine feminine. This is the Sophia that we spoke about in 3rd Adam 3. More questions. How do I know that what is happening is okay? How do I let go of controlling? How to accept what's happening in my life? How can I tap into my feelings and intuition? All this is the occult. That's what that is. The main focus of the program is you gathering insight into your own judgments, limiting beliefs, conditioning, and patterns. Through daily movement and dance, nature, reflection, journaling, and somatic practice, this intensive will give you tools how to change certain patterns that don't work for you anymore. And this is her. She teaches a whole course on this. Another thing she does is she does coaching. Recognizing patterns and wanting to change them is a challenging process. A collaboration with Nathalie feels like having someone next to you while you walk through your path, believing that no one holds answers for another person. We can merely share experiences, mirror each other, and take a possibility and turn that into an opportunity. And she talks about team alignment here. Own Your Space offers customized training programs for companies and groups. Themes such as conscious communication, team cohesion, leadership, and body language have main focus. And so, you know, she does a lot of that corporate work that we talked about in our last deal. But I want to just go here. This is some public videos on Venmo. And she talks about how she was aware of energies that she could sense as a kid. Let me just show you this right here. Let's listen to her for about a minute.
I'd love to be physical, play around with my friends. And I also love to dance. I danced in my room upstairs in my house, and I didn't have much space, but that square meter was my world stage, and on it I was a rock star. I could dive into my fantasies and into my own world, and it was extremely safe, and it was a fun place to be in. I was a very sensitive kid, so I always picked up on energies and emotions, and I was Did
you catch that? Energies. There you go. Now let me show you what she's saying here. So listen to this.
Connect to me, yes or no. So the thing I do with my clients is I start off with a core wound deep dive. We're all traumatized, and often we don't really know where the root is and or how it is still present in our life today. So therefore we dive into pattern recognition. How does it show up now still? We've all established certain defense mechanism or coping mechanisms, and they also pretty much work because that's why we are where we are today. And what we do is we observe them and watch for neutrally to witness them and see, like, hey, what if this is still serving me, yes or no?
Now, I don't know. As I listen to this, I'm like, what in the world is this even mean? I'll tell you why you're not familiar with this is because this is New Age gobbledygook. This is a coded language. You have to learn learn these terms, and once you understand these terms, you realize this woman's trying to initiate you into the occult.
The next layer of that is the ego.
And by the way, the ego is a Buddhist term. Let go of the ego. You'll hear Eastern Oriental people talk about that, and that is how you get to the higher consciousness. Is you let go of the physical, and that ties to Gnosticism, being that the physical is all bad. This is spooky stuff, man. This is wigging me out.
Are we willing to let go of those mechanisms, and am I willing to let go of my story and actually go into change? You know me, and my background is physical because I'm a dancer. And to me, in whatever shape or form we are present in this world, in whatever
shape or form we are present in this world. Do you see the New Age mumbo jumbo here? That's what this is. Okay, so Gino U It's right there in the Epstein files. Gino U is a wizard of high magic. And he's trying to get Epstein to fund a lot of his stuff. And Epstein was very interested in the transhumanism and the higher consciousness. Basically, folks, this is the occult. As we go forward in time, and as AI develops more and more and more and more and more, and as we become more of a technology-dependent society, you're going to have to look for buzzwords and terms like this, stuff that is anti-God, anti-Christian, and it's going to be everywhere, folks. Now, I'm going to give you this. Just let me jump into the Bible with you for a second. This, know in the last days perilous times shall come. That's going to be just a fact. People should be lovers of their own selves, but that's, lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, and they're going to have a form of godliness, denying the power thereof. From such turn away. There's going to be a rise in spirituality, but not a rise in Christianity. And Christianity and spirituality are not the same thing, my friend. Don't believe that for just a second. And then also I'm going to go here to 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. The Spirit speaketh expressly, and in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats which God hath created be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. And notice this: for every creature of God is good, nothing to be refused, if it be received with thanksgiving, for it is sanctified by the word of God and prayer. If you ever notice here, this doctrine of devils, there's like a vegetarian thing being mentioned here. The reason is, there's probably several reasons, but one of the reasons is because a lot of these New Age people don't eat meat because they believe it lowers the vibrational energy of their body. Like if you go full vegetarian and only eat things that are grown in the earth, it raises your consciousness, it raises your vibration. And actually what they'll do is they'll go do fasting, and they'll go lay in the ground and feel the energy of the earth in a fasted vegetarian state. Like they'll be vegetarian, then they'll fast for like 3 days and lay on the dirt and feel the vibrational energy of the Mother Earth. And by the way, somebody sent me a question the other day talking about grounding and walking around in the yard with no shoes on, trying to grounding. That is straight up New Age. That's straight up New Age stuff. It's exactly what that is. And this woman that I just showed you here, this woman is a form of a witch. So know that. My goodness, I honestly, guys, I'm horrified. I'm horrified at how much of this stuff is out there and how so many people are just swallowing this stuff without even really thinking. You got to know the Word of God. You got to know the Bible. Doctrine matters. Doctrine matters. Doctrine matters. Please, 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 please do not fall for this generic New Age spirituality. Because if you do, you'll die and you'll go to hell without God. Please believe on Christ, receive the gospel today. Thank you for watching today's episode of Spiritual Wickedness in High Places. We talked about the work of Gino U. And folks, this rabbit hole is insane. There's so many weird things going on in the world. But please subscribe to this channel, smite your like button, go watch Third Adam, and please get the information. Just get the information. And please, I'm trying to warn your soul. It's not just the Jeffrey Epsteins that are the crazy, child abusers and all this stuff that you got to worry about. You got to worry about these people that are giving you the false doctrine that is leading to all that, okay? Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ. Become a Christian today if you're not. And may God help open up your eyes and help you see the truth that the whole world lieth in wickedness, and that there is spiritual wickedness in high places, friend. And that's a fact. God bless you. Have a good day, and we will see you in the next episode. Have a good night.